park and play horsey back. Now we're grown up, Jack, not proud to be black. And yes, it's a fact we used to have afros. Now I suppose we're not tipping toes or going to a restaurant and sitting in the rail. See, back then was also racism in the air. For better or worse, we will keep on moving like Gino D is in effect. And he what keeps grooving.
Remember when them contract days our daddy gone so long, but when he come back, everyone was happy cause he drunk was back. Mommy so glad daddy come back home. She had this feeling since they jump over the broom. Yeah, do you remember? Yes, I remember. Yeah, do you remember how it used to be? Remember the old days, them good old happy days. If you remember, then come follow me. Do you remember? Yes, I remember. Yeah, do you remember how it used to be? Remember the old days, them good old happy days. If you remember, then come follow me. Do you remember? Yes, I remember. Yeah, do you remember how it used to be? Remember the old days, them good old happy days. If you remember, then come follow me. I take that flower and then make some pop, and that will give you a strength in your back. Then they take that flower and then make some pop, and that will give you a strength in your back. Remember them days when we were young and at the top of the little we used to sing this song. That's the way you better be all night long. This bohemian thing coming on so strong. Teach the young ones so they would know that the silent thing is not a puppy show. My favorite dish is concando. Yes, man, I come from Abaco. Do you remember? Yes, I remember. Yeah. Do you remember how we used to be? Remember the old days, them good old happy days. If you remember.
Higher level, how you feeling tonight? Y'all good, guys? Yeah. Good night, everybody. Welcome to our virtual party tonight. You will listen to the sounds of the Higher Level Band, and we're so happy to be here with you. What I need you to do for me right now, get up off the couch, get out your bed, yuck that sheet off, put on your scarlet shoes, and let's go. Come on, y'all. Higher level, what we gonna do? We gonna take them right back, right? Colin, what you got for us? Come on. In the bush, in the bush, in the bush. Let's go. Back in the old days, them people that bad way. Back in the old days, them people that bad ways. Hey, mama left you home to clean that yard, but to you that's bad. Daddy left home early this morning. Oh, they're going to boat. And when he comes home late this evening, if the work ain't done, boy, you gotta stop. That's why I'm saying to you, son, you better hurry. Come on, go and clean that yard. If daddy hold you, oh, you know, boy, he can beat you back. That's why I'm saying to you, son, you better hurry. Hurry, boy, go and clean the yard. If daddy hold you, oh, you know, boy, he can beat you back.
Tonight, a young boy dies in a fire in Abaco. We've got the details tonight. This as a man is also charged for the murder of Adriel Moxie. And later, notable faces turning up at a political training meeting this past weekend. Eyewitness News starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Janaea Nawal. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping news tonight, a young boy dead after a family home on the island of Abaco went up in flames overnight. Our Lyndon Ritchie Jr. has been following this story. He joins me in studio live with the details. Lyndon?
Good evening, Janaea. A community sound asleep this morning when the smell of smoke and cackling sounds revealed a home in Crown Haven, Abaco was on fire. Unfortunately, authorities revealed to Eyewitness News once the blaze was contained, a grim discovery was made.
Fire was eventually extinguished. Upon further examination, they discovered the body of a juvenile male with severe burns about the body.
The community of Crown Haven, Abaco, left shattered following the death of a 12-year-old boy unofficially identified as Montana, who was found dead after a home was reduced to ash Monday morning. What started the blaze still remains unknown. The closest fire department some miles away responding to the tragedy, and Assistant Fire Chief of Cooperstown Abaco Fire Services, Gary Smith, revealing to Eyewitness News distance did play a factor in response time.
When I got up there 40 minutes later, the structure had already burned to the ground. The only thing we were able to do at the time is hold the cars and stop bush fire from, escalating.
Video footage on the ground captures the flames continuing to rage on, and Smith admits lack of fire hydrants also played a role in trying to diminish the fire, which lasted
5 settlements up there, and none of the settlement has a hydrant. So I had to come back down here, which took me an additional hour plus.
According to fire officials, community residents also stepped in to help out the blaze despite the lack of resources, attempting to save the home and lives of those affected.
I see everybody else with buckets of water. They were not just there sitting around waiting on the fire truck to come. And even after we got there, they were still spraying water in buckets.
Now, Janea, authorities say the matter is under active investigation and an autopsy will have to be performed to determine the exact cause of death of the young boy. It's a story we are continuing to follow, but for now, I'm Linton Ritchie Jr. reporting live in studio, sending it back to you at the desk, Janea.
Thanks so much, Linton. Meantime, Eyewitness News was made to understand tonight that 2 children are now in protective custody after being found eating in a dumpster. The latest information being confirmed by Social Services Minister Miles LaRota, who opted to remain tight-lipped on the matter, sharing little details. Now, no word on if the children were related or whose care they were in when they were found.
They're in protective care. They're doing well. They've adjusted to their new environment and they're in school.
Well, that was all the minister would share on the matter. But in other news tonight, Chris Ferguson, a man accused of a crime that shocked the nation, has officially pleaded not guilty to capital murder. Ferguson is charged in connection with the brutal rape and strangulation of 12-year-old Adriel Moxie. He stood before Chief Justice Senior Ian Winder on Friday, where he entered a not guilty plea. Moxie was reportedly walking home from the Anatole Rogers High School when she went missing on November 18th, and just 2 days later, her body was located on a track road which she frequently walked beyond bushes, reportedly clad with a cloth and tied tightly around her neck. Ferguson is facing a series of serious charges, including abduction with intent to have unlawful sexual intercourse, and murder. He is currently being held on remand at the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services and has requested a court-appointed attorney. He's set to return to court on September 17th. He'll appear before Justice Wilhelmina Archer-Minnis to be given a date for trial. Well, from the news from the crime beat tonight, police are investigating a shooting that took place this morning, leaving a 24-year-old man hospitalized. According to reports, the incident unfolding shortly before 9:30 a.m. at a business establishment on Blue Hill Road South. When officers arrived on scene, they found a man suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. He was transported by ambulance to hospital. He's currently receiving medical treatment. Preliminary investigations suggest, that the victim was inside the business when a male suspect attempted to rob him at gunpoint. During the struggle, the suspect reportedly fired the weapon, injuring the victim. The gunman then fled the scene on foot, heading north along Blue Hill Road. He's described as wearing a gray hoodie and blue jeans. Well, another shooting taking place shortly before 5 a.m., officers being called to a business on Mont Royal Avenue, as there they discovered a 43-year-old man suffering from a gunshot wound. According to reports, the victim had just arrived at that establishment when he was shot. He was taken to hospital by ambulance for further medical treatment. A short time later, another police unit responded on 6th Terrace, as there they found a 48-year-old man also suffering from a gunshot wound. Investigators say he was involved in a dispute with another man inside that same establishment when the suspect pulled out a firearm and opened fire. The victim reportedly fled the scene and was later found by officers at a separate location, he too being transported to hospital for medical care. Another man also being shot overnight, according to report Officers on routine patrol heard a series of gunshots and soon after spotted a green Jeep speeding north along Blue Hill Road. Moments after leaving a nearby business establishment, when officers arrived on scene, they were directed to a man who had sustained apparent gunshot wounds. He was rushed to hospital in a private vehicle accompanied by a police officer. Preliminary investigations suggest that the victim had been sitting inside a white Honda parked in the lot of that business when three men reportedly got out of that green Jeep, approached him, and opened fire, discharging multiple shots before fleeing the area. Police are urging anyone with information that may assist in this or any of the recent shooting incidents to contact them at 502-9991 or 328-TIPS. Police are also investigating an alleged suicide attempt taking place early Sunday morning at the Sir Sidney Poitier Bridge. Shortly before 5:30, officers responded to reports of a woman on the bridge. She reportedly told officers that she attempted to jump in an effort to end her life. While speaking with officers, she attempted to do so, but police say they quickly intervened and prevented that act. The woman was taken to the Paradise Island Police Station. She was later transported to hospital by ambulance for further evaluation. This suicide attempt coming on the heels of an incident that's being investigated as a suicide, a woman in Green Turtle Key being found with an object around her neck over the weekend. This as officials have expressed concern about an alarming uptick in suicides and suicide attempts, a newfound reality that's deeply troubling local religious leader Bishop Walter Hanchel, who says we need swift action.
People are in crisis, and in my view, the country is going in the wrong direction, because the people who are hurting and struggling are being neglected. If you look on the streets, you see people walking the streets all day long, mentally challenged, talking to themselves and living like animals on the street, and nothing is being done. These are human beings. There's so much wrong that needs to be corrected. We need to do something. It's not enough to just talk, and we need action. People are dying, committing suicide. Young people are being molested every day, raped, and we just acting as though nothing has happened. We pretend as though all is well. Our country is in crisis.
In other news tonight, Assistant Director of Labor Kenneth Demetrius Wilkinson tragically passed away this morning at 63 years old. Eyewitness News being made to understand that Wilkinson was on his way to work when he reportedly collapsed near his home and was pronounced dead at Doctors Hospital a time later. In a statement released, the Minister of Labor and Public Service, Pia Glover Roll, expressed the sadness of the long-serving public servant. She's writing that Wilkinson was a dedicated public servant whose career embodied commitment and a passion for advancing the cause of workers in the Bahamas. Over his years of service within the Department of Labor, he gave his very best to ensuring safety and occupational standards in the workplace, overseeing compliance with labor and a number of issues, and management and facilities and labor polls. To his family, we share your sorrow and pray that you're comforted by the love of God and the knowledge that Kenneth's legacy of service was one that will be recognized. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and may his work continue to inspire us as we carry forward the mission to which he dedicated himself so wholeheartedly. Investigating a grievous harm incident that occurred on Sunday, leaving a 49-year-old man hospitalized and in serious condition. According to reports, shortly before 1 p.m., the victim was at a residence on Sunshine Road in the Gamble Heights area when he was struck in the head with a blunt object. The man became unresponsive and was transported to hospital by ambulance. Meantime, an All Points bulletin in connection with murder issued by authorities. They're searching for 23-year-old Antonio Roll of West Street. Investigators say Roll is of dark brown complexion and slim built. If you have any information on his whereabouts, you're asked to contact authorities at 502-9991. While some notable figures attending the Progressive Liberal Party's training module being held over the weekend with the next general election looming, the event saw the likes of businessman and diplomat Sebastian, Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas General Manager Clint Watson and former press secretary, attorney Owen Wells, former Doctors Hospital CEO Dr. Charles Seeley, sitting MPs including National Security Minister Wayne Monroe, Zane Lightbourne, Leon Lundy, Jamal Strawn, also the likes of Keno Wong, Dramico Archer, Robert Karen, president of the Tribune, also in attendance. Eyewitness News understands that the event had more than 60 persons either interested in being elected to office or serve in public life in different capacities, whether on boards or commissions. The training is viewed as a prerequisite for frontline party politics, and the curriculum reportedly focused on campaign ethics and strategy, parliamentary procedures, national history, leadership under scrutiny, and policy development frameworks. Well, on the other side of the political rivalry, the Free National Movement is gearing up to unveil its second batch of candidates in just a few days. Party leader Michael Pintard revealing this much during a Sunday afternoon press conference, nearly 2 months after revealing the FNM's first cohort of candidates for the next general election. This comes as members of the electorate are awaiting the report from the Boundaries Commission that will determine whether or not boundaries are withdrawn from the existing constituencies to create new ones.
Despite the fact that we do not have the Boundaries Commission report, even though we know the government is working diligently on it, without us knowing what their plans are, by Wednesday of next week, we would have ratified an additional group of candidates, and I'm reasonably and reliably informed it's Thursday of this coming week.
Well, the opposition Free National Movement facing a barrage of criticism tonight from the Davis administration just hours after revealing its 10-point plan to fight crime. While FNM officials assert that these proposals could bring about meaningful impact and tangible results, critics are questioning whether it could truly move the needle on the vexing issue. Our Jose Etienne has the details on this. That report, teachers returned to the public school classroom today, but not without tension from administrators. It's reported they took industrial action. The Bahamas Educators Managerial Union President, Stephen McPhee, telling our Laurencia Smith that enough is enough. Here's that report.
90% of the members of the Bahamas Educational Managerial Union withdrew their labor on Monday, 1 week before the students returned to the classroom. According to the union's president, Stephen McPhee, the public school administrators, including principals and vice principals and senior staff, have a long list of concerns regarding their industrial agreement. One major issue, he says, is the redeployment of members to the Family Islands.
There are a number of administrators who receive reassignment letters to leave from one island to the next. There's been no provision made for them thus far for housing. There's been no provision for airfare. So we're saying to them, how are these officers going to report?
Now, McPhee claims that his executives met with educators and labor officials on Sunday. Then he claimed they spoke again on Monday morning.
No pushback in terms that we are not entitled to it. But what we keep hearing is it's the system. The union has been looking for some time, the president. I've been trying to get a meeting with Mr. or Mistress System because we're saying it's just grossly unfair.
He adds that outstanding allowances remain a bone of contention for his nearly 500 members. Their safety and well-being on the job is a top priority as well. This comes as one of the members was assaulted during Report Card Day in Grand Bahama last school year. He says since then they have provided officials with the union's safety plan. While he acknowledged government is implementing new security measures like ID cards, the union leader says concern still remains. He explains why.
Include those administrators who will check the over 1,000 IDs in the morning for students who have to rent a CV Bethel campus, who will check the almost 1,200 or more IDs of students who have to enter Anatole. All we're saying to the employer is this: it's us who you're going to expect to stand at the gate. It's us who you expect is going to check the IDs. We believe we should be included in the discussions.
And what's next for the union as teachers return to campuses today, while students will return to the classroom next Monday, September 1st.
At least the minimum of what has been promised is met. So whether or not we will be ready and in place is going to depend on how much the employer lives up to its obligation and its extended commitment.
Eyewitness News reached out to labor officials for a comment. They, however, referred the matter to education officials who were not available upward until news time. It's a story that we are continuing to follow. Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Well, the Ministry of Education responding tonight, issuing a statement refuting any allegations of not committing to engaging in dialogue and finding solutions to issues expressed by the Educators Union. The statement addressed several matters by name, including concerns with clothing and transportation allowance owed to officers, which they've committed to resolving by early September. The 9 outstanding reassignments, they stated, were completed today, and the outstanding confirmations for some 37 officers are still under review, and unions will receive updates on those matters. As it relates to legal matters connected to the Ministry of Public Service, 157 of the 160 matters present have been completed, and updates for the outstanding matters continue to be provided to the union. For more on the ministry's response, you can log on to our website, ewnews.com. Well, it's almost time for back to school. The IL Cares Foundation once again giving back to the community, this time including several family islands. Our Delano Roker has the details tonight.
The IL Cares Foundation wrapping up their annual Back to School giveaway at the University of the Bahamas. This year's event was even more special, with the foundation not only providing backpacks, but for the very first time in New Providence, they also distributed shoes for students as they prepare to head back to the classroom. The event, despite the gloomy weather, was a massive success, with hundreds of families coming out to receive their back to school supplies. His Excellency Sebastian, CEO of Island Luck, emphasized that this initiative is one of the core pillars of the IL Cares Foundation's ongoing commitment to youth development and investment in the future.
Listen, man, if we don't invest in the kids, we finish as a country, plain and simple. So, this is us doing what we know that we need to do. So this is not about giving back school supplies. This is about empowering, bringing hope to these kids. So, for some of them less fortunate than others, and this is their kickstart to their new year. So I just want to encourage all of those kids out there, do your best, make us proud. The next generation behind you is depending on what you do today, and, make us all proud.
In addition to New Providence, the event evolving into a countrywide effort, with distribution taking place in several family islands, including Grand Bahama, Exuma, San Salvador, Long Island, and Eleuthera. According to Bastian, it was important for them to reach as many students as possible.
This is one of our annual staple events, my second favorite event, only next to our Christmas Carnival event. And, it's just wonderful to be able to bring all of the kids together. We're probably a week away from the new school year, and this is their chance to just wrap it up, have some fun, get all the supplies they need. This year we've done it even bigger.
And with 10,000 bags filled with school supplies being distributed this year, that's no small feat. IL Cares Foundation's digital and social media manager, Anise Monroe, giving an overview of what's inside.
Bags are equipped with the basic classroom essentials, your notebook, pen, pencils, rulers, as well as we're also giving away snacks. So the snacks are mainly fruits, and it will at least last them for the first week of school.
Prizes and entertainment were also a hit as the give back continued in Grand Bahama. Marvin Johnson, founder of Marvelous Entertainment, shared why events like this make the difference.
I'm giving out some watch. I team up with the Island Care, making sure that the kids get at least a watch on their wrist back to school. So they're doing some dance competition and they're having a good time.
Family Island residents expressing their gratitude for the IL Cares Foundation's commitment to their communities. Sabrina Moss and Samantha Blue Wilkinson from North Andros shared their heartfelt thanks.
Times it gets a hectic during school time, back to school preparation for the kids, and with this initiative, things that were left undone surely will be done, thanks to Island Luck.
I think the initiative is always important, and especially in giving back during this period of time. That so many parents experience challenges in making preparation for their children to go back to school. So this type of initiative is always good.
Officials from the IL Care Foundation say they will continue to set the standard for what it means to invest in the future of our youth, from island to island, one student at a time. Delana Roker, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Delano. Well, as we said, the opposition Free National Movement, they're facing a barrage of criticism tonight from the Davis administration, hours after they revealed a 10-point plan to fight crime. While F&M officials assert that these proposals could bring about some meaningful impact and tangible results, critics are questioning whether it could truly move the needle on this vexing issue. Our Jose Etienne has more on this.
Revolutionary or recycled. Those are two words that come to residents' minds in response to the Free National Movement's press conference on Sunday afternoon, outlining their 10-point plan to fight crime. As far as the governing Progressive Liberal Party is concerned, though, it's simply a repackaged PLP crime-fighting plan.
We intend to take a stronger stance on bail to keep high-risk individuals off the street, without giving the impression that we are robbing the judiciary of the discretion that they also have. Public safety, however, must come first.
But in a government-issued statement just moments before news time, National Security Minister Wayne Munro argued that this goal is nothing new, given the Davis administration's amendments to the Bail Act last year that officials say is paying off. Aside from that, Pintard also unveiled his plans to address the backlog in criminal cases that's adversely affecting the court's efficiency.
We will clear backlogs so offenders are held to account quickly. That means expanding virtual hearings to cut delays, digitizing case management system.
But Munro insists that the backlog is being reduced while officials tout of the addition of the Burnett Road Family Court Complex, as well as other means to improve the judiciary.
We know that some of this work has been signaled, some of it is underway. We need a greater sense of urgency to use our courts more efficiently and building a modern forensic lab so evidence moves faster.
Pintard also promising to aggressively recruit personnel for the armed forces as they are trying to subsist despite a manpower shortage. But government's statement highlights the number of recruited officers as officials say they're addressing the shortage.
We will expand evidence-based rehabilitation programs with skills training and real job placements for low-security prisoners ready to return to a new life beyond those walls.
Government claims that rehabilitation programs are expanding while referencing plans to develop a new prison, although that has yet to be realized. Pintard's also promising to revive communities. Now, government would contend that its clear hold and build crime-fighting strategy is doing just that, but the opposition doesn't seem convinced.
An F&M government will clean up communities to reduce crime, not merely to give a few persons contract for their heavy equipment. We're talking about cleaning up the community. When you clean up the community and you fail to do anything with the property, all that happens is that a little bit of rain causes the very bush to come back up, and then the same cycle is repeated.
But make no mistake about it, the opposition accepts that some of its plans are already enacted. Its officials, however, say they're deeply concerned about what they say is sluggish movement on a serious issue. Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
Well, if you've got a news tip or if you've seen news in the making, call the Ion News hotline 397-6397. We also invite you to send your letters to the editor for publication on all of our social media platforms, Eyewitness News Bahamas @gmail.com. And if you're watching on our Facebook or YouTube page, share your thoughts about today's stories in the comment section. Don't forget to hit subscribe. We want to hear from you. We're just getting started in Eyewitness News tonight, but when we come back, the opposition leader also slamming the Grand Bahama Power Company over recent bills. We've got that story coming up. And parents, they say they're feeling the strain on school supplies. We've got more on that right after this break.
Vibes is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the vibes back. At BTC, we understand your vibes because we live it. That's why we are dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You are at the heart of everything we do. Our commitment is to keep your vibes flowing, no matter what.
The last eclipse of our galaxy. Scientists are gathered here today to witness this extraordinary event. Simply marvelous, extraordinary, unforgettable, one of a kind. Oh man, that's amazing.
You can't ignore the craving that makes everything crunch. The new crispy barbecue bacon sandwich with barbecue sauce, cheddar, bacon, crispy onions, and an extra large chicken fillet. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Looking for insurance that fits your lifestyle and your budget? At Star General Insurance, we've got you covered. Whether it's motor insurance with flexible options for third-party liability and comprehensive coverage, or commercial insurance products that protect your business, we have choices you can afford. Own a home or renting? Our home insurance products have just what you need. And for the adventurers out there, we offer marine insurance too. Visit our website or social media pages for contact information and quotes. Star General, insurance made simple.
Carrie's Fabric and Uniform Store wants to get you ready for back to school.
They have ready-made uniforms and uniform fabrics for almost every school in the Bahamas.
At Carrie's, find skirts, blouses, shirts, jumpers, boy shorts and long pants, neckties, socks, and
You
more.
can even have your uniform skirts custom made.
Check out our selection of embroidered cotton shirts.
That's Carrie's Fabric and Uniform Store on Mackey Street. Call us at 393-0758 or 817-0758.
Are you searching for something new? Something exciting? Your dream job in paradise? Well, look no further. Royal Beach Club Paradise Island is hiring. Join a dynamic group of passionate hospitality professionals, craft unforgettable moments, and thrive in a vibrant, welcoming atmosphere. Play your part in shaping the future of our team while growing your own career every day. Bring your energy, your passion, and your creativity to a workplace that's as dynamic and fun as you are. At Royal Beach Club Paradise Island, the opportunities don't just exist, they're limitless. So are you ready to find your perfect fit? Visit Royal Beach Club at paradiseisland.com/career today and step into a world of exciting possibilities.
The Royal Bahamas Police Force is one of the most unique professions because it allows you to work in almost every field.
For the police, I fly the unmanned aerial vehicles.
Because I always had an interest in forensic science.
The most interesting area that I would have been exposed to would have been the fire prevention section. It's so much you can pursue.
I get to serve my community and my people every day. Log on to our webpage. There's information about the recruitment process and all of our various departments.
This segment of Eyewitness News is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Gas tracker, you're getting the cheapest tonight at Rubis, $5.48. Shell coming in at $5.50. Esso, $5.56. Welcome back. You're watching Eyewitness News. Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard mincing no words as he slammed the Grand Bahama Power Company's president, Dave McGregor, whose comments on soaring power bills ignited fiery debate among Grand Bahamians. Now he told the GBPC electricity customers that they should change their usage behavior if they want to see lower bills. That in response to growing frustration from consumers who railed against a pending fuel charge rate increase for the month of August.
We believe that the head of the power company owes the residents of all of Grand Bahama an apology. How the hell could he say that our choices, just like the Prime Minister, our choices is what was responsible for the high bills that we experience in Grand Bahama? It is untrue. It was not merely consumption patterns. In fact, they've reversed some of those bills because people pointed out, we were away, nobody was home. How do you tell me that my consumption went up when I wasn't even present? Other things are dictating it, and they should be transparent about what is dictating the increase. Is it that the cost of fuels for rental generation, is that what may be happening and you're passing it on to us? We don't know. We would like for them to explain.
Once again, highlighting an ongoing court battle between the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority and the Grand Bahama Port Authority, as IRCA is looking to assert its authority while the GBPA says it has nothing to prove. Pintard says all entities involved are not helping burden power consumers.
In the absence of their explanation, we need independent investigation. So we're saying to GBPA, who was purported to be the regulator, who we have historically accepted in the past as the regulator, step up to the plate. And then also let us know the frequency with which the power has gone off, the length of time it has stayed off. Would those two things have triggered penalties on the power company, and have you instituted any penalties? IRCA is now saying that they should be the regulator. Again, the government has to step up. The government, GBPA, all of them have to step up to address the issue that is happening in Grand Bahama. So BPL is failing us, and so is the power company in Grand Bahama. And we are sick and tired of it.
In other news tonight, attorney Bijan Ferguson on the defense amid criticisms from other lawyers and residents who opposed his initial election victory at the Bahamas Criminal Bar. Ferguson, who is charged with accessory after the fact to bribery in connection with a high-profile police corruption case, was elected as vice president during a bar council meeting last Tuesday. However, the results were later declared void after officials ruled that too few members participated. His response, a direct aim at what he says is a handful of lawyers who seemingly judged his candidacy on pending charges rather than principle.
If lawyers aren't approaching it in that fashion, that we are to protect the constitutional guarantees, all they do is perpetuate the ignorance that prevails in our society, where they believe allegations mean that you are guilty. If lawyers aren't prepared to hold up those principles, the oath that we are called to hold, then they should not, they're not worth their salt. Let's put it that way. They're not worth their salt.
Well, with incidents involving we move on to some other news tonight. The new school year is here for some students and just days away for others. But as uniforms are ironed and supplies are being packed, a local pediatrician says there's one more step parents shouldn't skip: a back-to-school health checkup. Dr. Valencia Johnson, clinical director at Healthy Kids Pediatrics, says these visits are critical to ensure students are physically ready to learn.
So having your child checked up for when we're heading back to school is important because we want to review their nutrition, their growth over the summer break. We want to make sure that heading back, you have all the vaccines that they need to be covered for the school year. Oftentimes we lose track of vaccines, and just getting that back to school checkup is important, so it gives us a chance to be able to review the school, the immunization records, and to update them if needed. Not always do they need vaccines, but it's a good idea to get it checked and to make sure they're up to date.
Johnson adding tonight that back-to-school visits also give doctors a chance to catch issues early on and to work directly with families on nutrition, wellness, and also prevention. With appointments filling up fast, she's encouraging parents to schedule early and help set their children up for a healthy start to the new school year.
So, as you know, when school opens in September, flu season is shortly behind. We also like to review nutrition and go over with the parents healthy ideas for meals, snacks, discouraging juice, encouraging water, and then what they might need in terms of activities. It's also an opportunity for us to screen for cardiovascular disease and other diseases that we may pick up on the exam or in the history, and we will be able to amend before they go back to school.
As families across the Bahamas prepare for back to school, many are facing an unexpected obstacle: the rising cost of school supplies. This despite government's VAT reduction. Some parents say they're still feeling the financial strain. Our Delano Roker has the details tonight.
Across the Bahamas, parents are scrambling to get their children ready for school, but some of the cost of supplies remains a heavy burden. Rashay Raming, a mother of two, says the much-anticipated VAT reduction has yet to make a noticeable difference as she prepares for the upcoming semester.
You know, government said VAT was on certain school items, yeah, but I don't think so. I haven't found VAT to be on nothing, so off on anything. So instead of it being less, it was very much more.
Rashay's frustrations echoes those of many parents, but the Consumer Protection Commission, or CPC, is closely monitoring the situation. Investigator Timothy Gibson says they're keeping a watchful eye on the ongoing VAT holiday and reminding businesses of their obligations.
We know this is a very busy time with parents trying to get their kids back to school, you know, purchasing school supplies and whatever else is needed for school. So, you know, we want a smooth transition. And also, we want to let the consumers know that the VAT holiday is on until September 6th. So this would involve school supplies, uniforms, books, etc. for back to school.
Alfred Taylor, the CPC compliance supervisor, is also encouraging consumers to be vigilant and aware of their rights. He offers some simple yet vital tips to ensure that parents are not caught paying more than they should.
Be vigilant as it relates to checking your receipts. Checking your receipts to make sure that the reduction in VAT is reflected on that receipt. Okay? Also, in checking your receipt, keep copies of your receipts. Okay? So if it's something that is not going to, you know, towards your transaction, if you feel like your transaction is not valid, you can have a copy of that receipt provided to us so we can look into the matter along with the Department of Inland Revenue so we can check and see exactly if that VAT reduction was, you know, actually transacted.
CPC Executive Chairman Randy Roll stresses that businesses found not compliant with the VAT regulations could face significant penalties, fines ranging from $2,000 to $5,000. However, he states that the Commission is hopeful suppliers are focused on the consumer during this transition.
However, you know, we would want that to be the last resort. With this upcoming season back to school, we know that parents are excited, kids are excited. They've been out for a long time, and so we want that transition to be as smooth as possible.
When asked about the possibility of harsher punishments for violators, Roll made it clear that such decisions fall under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Economic Affairs. But he assures the public that the CPC will continue to investigate and enforce compliance.
Again, our team is very aggressive in going and checking on these consumers and checking on these establishments and making sure that we protect consumers during such a busy time such as this.
Delano Roker, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Delano. Well, still to come in Eyewitness News tonight, fantasy football, it takes over at Bahamas. We've got the details coming up, but first, here's a check on tonight's weather forecast.
Stop, man, stop. But it's hot today, boy. Wait. You see that? Mm-hmm. That's snowing. I can cool off, man.
Where you going? Get back here. Don't go in there. Be
I can inside there.
I can cook whatever you want tonight. Where you going?
You can do what?
I can cook whatever tonight.
I forget you can't cook.
Step out the heat and enter Skypole. Expert installation, cool comfort, and reliable service. Brought to you by Discount AC and Supplies. Your one-stop shop for top-tier AC units.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Back to school and back to super value and quality supermarkets for specials like Mott's apple juice, 11.5 ounces, 99 cents. Lay's chips, assorted, 1 ounce, 2 for $1.39. Snack pack juicy gels or puddings, 4-pack, $2.99. Armor Lunchables, assorted, 2 ounces, 2 for $3. Mead composition books, $1.59 each. Case price, $18.89. Save on school snacks and supplies at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Man, I been at this for hours, wait, trying to find this bucket list bliss treasure everybody talking about. Finally, Miko, you still out here digging for treasure like you was pirates? You out here sweating like you fighting for your life? Only thing you doing is putting sand in my drink, Miko. Miko!
Good news! You don't have to dig for this treasure. Just apply and get approved for a BOB loan or credit card, and you're in to win a trip of a lifetime. Plus other great prizes like water park passes, restaurant vouchers, and VIP movie tickets. Get approved and you could be living large in Las Vegas, striking a pose in Paris, catching a cab in New York, twisted spaghetti in Rome, looking royal in London, or shopping in Panama.
X marks the spot, and it's right here at BOB. And don't forget to get a loan with my name too, because I'm going to ruin Miko.
Apply today for a BOB loan or Visa credit card. Win the trip of a lifetime, plus weekly prizes. Email loans@bankbahamas.com.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Back. Well, teachers on the island of Eleuthera being given generous school supplies ahead of the upcoming academic year, all courtesy of the Royal Bahamas Police Force Eleuthera Division. Authorities telling Eyewitness News that in collaboration with their stakeholders and the Ministry of Education officials, the initiative was a success. Officer in charge of Eleuthera, Superintendent of Police Franklin Neely, says the items gifted to educators serves as a reminder of the great work teachers carry out every day.
The Eleuthera Division, along with its stakeholders, have decided to give something tangible to the various teachers in the high school and primary school on the island of Eleuthera. One of the primary nuggets was teacher involvement and the achievement of students in the classes. We distributed office-sized fridge, microwave, water coolers, tea, coffee, sugar, and other items that could assist the teachers in the classroom and also the students.
Neely revealing that children sometimes spend more time with teachers than families, and their job plays a critical role in shaping generations to come here in the Bahamas.
We realize that teachers hold immense value in the lives of our children by imparting knowledge, fostering critical thinking, and shaping moral and ethical values as mentors and role models. They inspire dreams, build confidence, and equip students with skills needed for academic and professional success. Teachers empower students to become lifelong learners and responsible citizens, contributing to the overall progress of our society.
While ESPN bringing fantasy football to the sand at Bahamas this weekend with drafts, challenges, and big plays off the field. Laurentia Smith was on hand for that experience.
There's a first time for everything, and that was the case for me. This past weekend, I took part in the ESPN's Ultimate Fantasy Football Weekend at Bahamas, where I had a chance to draft my very first team. But for others like Jenny Pinder, she's been doing this from the late 90s.
2001, we got computerized, and I'm in 3 leagues right now. So it's a lot of fun.
I doubt I'll ever juggle that many fantasy leagues, but I'm officially a part of the Mic'd Up Mayhem. That's a league made up of my media colleagues and, of course, my own personal league, the Sports Lady. The name really says it all. But before I got into the draft, I did get a few pointers from Tobias Wynn, a real SLX, which is a sports lifestyle brand, who participated in the weekend. He says it's important to pick right, but also to have fun.
To be smart and strategic and make good trades and recognize untapped value in the free agency market, there's definitely much more than just the draft. Of course, the draft's important. It sets the stage, but there are a lot of ways to modify your team, be creative.
If you know anything about sports, trash talking is a requirement, and draft day was no different, along with the fanfare. And league surely delivered with the entrances, and Mic'd Up Mayhem was no different. Let the draft begin.
I do watch football, guys. Just kidding, I do. But sometimes, you know, persons by their personalities, and he's one of them. But I could draft this man no matter what. So the rundown is I have to draft a quarterback, a running back, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. Better.
Now, I did not get Bijan Roberts because I had the 6th pick.
At the end of the night, we're going to see how my draft class shape up. I think I'm going to make it happen. I think I have confidence in myself.
With the help of my colleagues who've been in the fantasy football game for years, my draft board was starting to shape up. But in true fashion, I phoned a friend. Not my dad this time, but my brother. And according to him, I was making headway with my class. But he did have a few questions about my picks. And Mike Clay from ESPN agreed as well.
Decent shape, a little low on depth, but Travis Hunter, obviously, a fun rookie player, so I like that. Running back, let's see, we got James Cook, Chase Brown, Tony Pollard. Those are good players. What are we doing here? Tell me about this one.
I just picked that.
That's just a random pick? Okay, we'll call that a pass.
All my team is locked, and I won't know the real value of my team until about week 14, which is the playoffs. So I'm going to try my best to keep up with my fantasy football and see how this works out.
I think it's maybe a 4th place team, which means you got to keep working. We got to make some good picks here at the end. We have to work waivers, make some trades, and then you're going to win a championship. We're going to get you to a championship.
While Clay is looking to get me to a championship, the event coordinator Josh Franklin says he's ready for the 3rd edition in partnership with Bahamas.
Bahamas is a great partner of ours. We do a lot of things with them. Our main goals are always tourism, right? We want to bring people in from the States, Canada, anywhere that you want to visit the Bahamas, we want you to come here. We're going to put on some great events.
This weekend is another example of the country's growing sports tourism brand. Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Well, it's never work when you're having fun. Great job, Laurencia. She's up next with a check on sports right after this break.
Good evening, Janae. Well, the Bahamas making big strides in tennis on the international stage. I'll tell you more about it straight ahead in sports.
Every moment unforgettable with Shop Smart. From colorful floaties and water guns to light vests that keep fun safe. We've got everything you need to dive into the season. Planning a beach picnic? We've got the cutest sets and coolest bubbles to bring the vibes. And don't forget our trendy swimwear for all ages. Summer starts here, only at Shop Smart. Your Miracle, number 122 Market Street.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
It's me, Wednesday Addams.
Your life just took a dark turn. I regret to inform you that I have devised the meal of misfortune with Wendy's. It's pure torture for your taste buds, with 4 nightmarish dips of dread. Don't waste my time asking which ones you'll get. You must surrender to your fate. Enjoy the anguish.
Pain hits fast, so get relief fast. Only Tylenol Rapid Release Gels have laser-drilled holes. They release medicine fast for fast pain relief. And now, get max strength topical pain relief precisely where you need it with Tylenol Precise.
I can clean your teeth, but I can't wash your whole mouth.
Yes, we're toothbrushes, not mouth brushes.
Listerine works with brushing to deliver 5 times more cleaning power, plus it contains clinically proven essential oils.
For whole mouth health, Listerine. Wash your mouth.
Carrie's Fabric and Uniform Store wants to get you ready for back to school.
They have ready-made uniforms and uniform fabrics for almost every school in the Bahamas.
At Carrie's, find skirts, blouses, shirts, jumpers, boy shorts and long pants, neckties, socks, and more.
You can even have your uniform skirts custom made.
Check out our selection of embroidered cotton shirts.
That's Carrie's Fabric and Uniform Store on Mackey Street.
Call us at 393-0758 or 817-0758.
The Royal Bahamas Police Force is one of the most unique professions because it allows you to work in almost every field.
For the police, I fly the unmanned aerial vehicles.
Because I always had an interest in forensic science.
The most interesting area that I would have been exposed to would have been the fire prevention section. It's so much you can pursue.
I get to serve my community and my people every day. Log on to our webpage. There's information about the recruitment process and all of our various departments.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
J.S. Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Eyewitness Sports is brought to you by 103.5 The Beat.
Welcome to another edition of Eyewitness Sports. I'm Laurencia Smith. Thanks for joining us. Kicking off sports tonight, the Bahamas celebrating big results on the international stage in tennis. Sydney Clark, Simone Pratt, Jaleesa Clark, and Sophia Ferguson made up the Bahamas Billie Jean Cup team that represented the 242 in El Salvador. Out the tournament, the ladies stormed through the Americas Group 3 tournament with an unbeaten record. They took down the host nation and capped it off with a hard-fought 2-1 win over Uruguay to earn a promotion in Group 2 next year. The Bahamas finished with a perfect 5-0 record, joining Uruguay in advancing to the 2026 America's Group 2 tournament. Now the team was coached by Kim O'Kelly. Congratulations to the young tennis stars. Meantime, on the home court, Team Bahamas men's national volleyball squad battled their way into the finals of the 2025 Caribbean Volleyball Championships over at the Kendall G. Isaac Gymnasium. Now, as for the women's team, they finished 6th in their division. After upsetting former champion Suriname in a 5-set thriller, the Bahamas faced Curacao on Saturday night in the title match. It was a tough first set, 25-21, followed by another close battle, 25-23, before Curacao sealed the deal with 25-16 in the third, taking gold and leaving the 242 with a hard-earned silver medal here at home. Captain Shanari Hebron expressed his pride in the team's performance.
We fought hard. Fatigue was a factor, but it's not an excuse. I'm really proud of the guys. It's a good squad. It's a fun squad to play with. Like you said, we started down 0-2. We came back. We got to the gold medal round, which was our goal. Obviously, winning is always what you want, but I think the most important thing that we could take away is that we showed the level of volleyball that we have in this country, and I hope that it inspires a lot of people to continue to support, to continue to play.
Well, congratulations to Team Bahamas for their efforts throughout the tournament. Finally, in sports, with a heavy heart, Jazz Chisholm Jr. took to the field at Yankee Stadium Sunday night, still grieving the loss of a close friend. Just hours before pitching, he posted on Instagram, calling the news unbelievable. But once the game began, Chisholm Jr. delivered a moment to remember, blasting his 100th career home run in the Yankees' 7-2 win over the Red Sox.
It felt kind of surreal. You know, I lost my best friend yesterday, so today felt like a different type of day, especially with the 100th home run coming today, and everything. You know, when everything's going well, I think that's how we are. You know, we hit homers, we score a lot of runs, and we walk a lot. And I feel like that was our game tonight.
Well, congratulations to Jazz from all of us here at Eyewitness Sports. Well, that's what's making sports at this hour. I'm Laurencia Smith. Stay tuned for more news on the other side of the break.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Before we close tonight, we remember the father of the nation, Sir Lyndon Pinling. He's being remembered on his 25th death anniversary. He became the country's first prime minister after leading the quiet revolution to independence in 1973. Prime Minister Davis, who was first given a Progressive Liberal Party nomination by Pinling, in a statement called him an architect of modern nationhood whose leadership was marked by a steadfast belief in the capacity of Bahamians to govern themselves and to shape their own future. Davis also paying tribute to Pinling's widow and former Governor General, Dame Margaret Pinling, whom he says has preserved his legacy with dignity, grace, and quiet strength. Pinling being first elected to Parliament in 1956 when he successfully contested Nassau's Southern District constituency before moving to represent South Andros in 1967 up until his retirement in 1997, becoming the region's longest-serving head of government. That wraps up news this Monday. Coming up and Beyond the Headlines with Shanique Miller. It's a full story talking politics. That's coming up and Beyond the Headlines. It starts right after this. That does it for us here at Eyewitness News. It's certainly been a pleasure having you in our company tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Janae Nawal saying good night and be safe, everyone.
Has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay eatin' well.
We all know there are ways we can help. Your help can go even further. Be an everyday superhero. Donate hands for hunger.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, he was trending most of the weekend because of one photograph. The interest in Robert Caron is at an all-time high. Tonight, we asked the businessman about his desire to run in the Michael seat. Also, we asked him what drew him into politics and about taking a $400 million weather network to Michael. We also talk about Depute Caron's hope to continue a family legacy and more. It's a special Beyond the Headlines tonight. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you tuned in. He comes from a media empire, and now Robert Caron is expanding that background into a weather network that's geared towards enhancing weather and aviation services in the Bahamas. It is called the Bahamas Aviation, Climate and Severe Weather Network Limited, BASCWIN. The new weather network is to be headquartered in an area of the Bahamas that's long awaited some new economic activity, an area that's excited to see what BASCWIN brings, not just to Michael, but to the Bahamas as a whole. We will get into what this historic investment is set to do for Michael, and of course, two key industries. It's good to have you join me this evening. I am Shanique Miller. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Let's get started. I'm joined by Michael Strawn, the Group Financial Advisor, and Quincy Roll, the President of Digital Labs at Tribune Media Group, and of course at BASCWIN. Gentlemen, it's good to have you both here. Good evening to both of you. Listen, this is pretty amazing what we're about to discuss, and I'm excited to hear more about it. Of course, we've been hearing about it. We've been seeing the headlines, and so welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you both here, and let's just get into it and talk about exactly, number one, what is BASCWIN? Michael, if you can kind of give us an idea, and let's get started.
Thanks, Shanique. Thank you for having us here tonight. BASCWIN, Bahamas Aviation, Climate and Severe Weather Network, is a Bahamian company that our focus is on aviation weather and weather in general. We signed our heads of agreement with the government of the Bahamas on May 7th this year. And with that, Baxman was appointed the Aviation Meteorological Authority. And with that, we are now in the process of setting up the Caribbean's first next-gen meteorological watch office. And what makes it next-gen is it exceeds any current standard that it's in existence. And it's powered by a proprietary system that has been in development that is the brainchild, actually, of Mr. Robert Garin for the past 7 years, called the WXSenseNet. And so through that, what we'll be doing is providing some of the most advanced weather reporting, not only for aviation, but the project is so over-engineered, this data is going to be available to our partners at the Bahamas Department of Meteorology, and it'll be able to provide not only aircraft that's transiting through the airspace, but also the general public more robust and more advanced weather reporting, especially considering the environment that we live in.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, like, what is the timeline for this? But we'll get to that. Let's just talk about what this is set to do. As you say, it's set to tremendously enhance weather reporting. We know how so important that is to the Bahamas and the region. You also mentioned that the region will be involved in this somehow.
Yes, correct. What we're doing currently is we are building out the network here in the Bahamas. Once the HO is signed, we have about 36 months to complete our build-out here in the Bahamas, but there's been interest expressed from the Turks and Caicos government and also the government of the Cayman Islands to replicate what we're doing here in the Bahamas for their nations. The small island nations, we suffer from, unfortunately, one of the deadliest forms of natural disasters in the form of hurricanes, and with climate change and weather patterns changing, these things are becoming more intense, and the cost of these things are, spiraling out of control for small governments and small nations like the Bahamas. So we want to try and help where we can with the reporting, and also the other aspect, which is providing additional revenue for the Bahamas through the restructuring of the overflight fees, which is also a responsibility that Baxman is taking on.
Oh, that's good, because that's been a discussion for quite some time about those overflight fees. How are they collected? Are they being collected? That type thing. But let's just talk more about this. How will this further enhance what it is that the Met Office does? The Met Office, of course, has been around for decades, but of course, as weather systems continue to get stronger, as it gets hotter and so much more with weather patterns changing, I imagine this is really going to come in quite handy.
It will, and the Met Office, as with most government agencies, they're restricted by their financial capabilities. What Baxman is doing, because like I said, the WXSenseNet system is so over-engineered, while we're using it for aviation weather, the real-time 3D imaging, coupled with the satellites that we currently have in orbit through our partners at NOAA, Tomorrow.io, and the National Hurricane Center, we're going to be providing eventually to the Met Office hyperlocal forecasting for the general public. We'll data to provide hyperlocal forecasting to the Bahamian public, and that term.
Because what does that mean, hyperlocal?
So with hyperlocal forecasting, currently right now, we talk about satellite resolution and refresh rates. It's on an average of about 21 kilometers, which means that the satellites take an image every 21 kilometers. The satellites that we currently have in orbit are going to move that refresh rate to 1 kilometer. So every portion of the country is going to be able to have unique weather reports to their neighborhoods, their systems. And so in the case of severe weather that may pop up, if you're in the Eastern Road area, or
it can almost pinpoint directly to an area and give the report on that.
And those alerts that a flash flood or severe flooding may be coming into that area can be issued so residents can prepare well in advance.
Now, Quincy, this also is set to impact or enhance the aviation industry. Can you please speak to that?
Yeah, so thank you, Shanique, and good night, Bahamas. So in regards to the aviation sector, what we've also come up with is a carbon credits project, actually, for aviation. You may have heard about seabed and some other areas, concrete and whatnot, but we have actually tackled the aviation space in terms of helping planes save on carbon emissions into the atmosphere. As you know, it is a big deal. So what we've done is developed a system, an actual platform that will help airlines, governments, to understand what is actually happening in the skies, we're actually in real time able to track the flights and actually see on a map while it's moving all of the emissions that are being put out from the plane. When a plane deviates, we can actually calculate anything saved as well. And we're all able to use this because of our very specialized weather technology that is built into Backswin, the Backswin system. So with that, and through our partners, with our own algorithm that we have spent quite a while developing, we are actually able now to present this at the S&P 500 conference last year. And we were invited again. Mike can talk more about that, but we were invited this year as well, to discuss further our plans to move forward with this. Last year at the conference, we won breakout partner, Backswin Tribune Digital Labs, we won breakout partner of the entire conference as the only company in the aviation space that had a solution for both insetting and offsetting in the aviation sector. So that's a big deal for us, especially being from the Bahamas. We're really proud of that, and we're very proud to go back this year and really, really represent the Bahamas in the carbon credit space.
That is amazing, because we've heard those buzzwords before, particularly over the last handful of years, carbon credits and all that, airspace and all this stuff. And it's good to know that it's actually being tapped into, and it's something that the Bahamas can take advantage of. Is it set to also benefit the local aviation industry?
Yes, so both commercial and non-commercial cargo, it doesn't matter. As long as you're emitting carbon emissions, we can help you with route planning and saving so that you can deviate correctly and in turn be able to earn some carbon credits.
So guys, of course, this heads of agreement was signed in May of this year. I called out a huge number, $400 million set for this project. But just kind of break it down for us so that we know exactly what is what, because I understand there's a whole lot more as well that's not being discussed at this moment.
Yeah, that's correct. When we signed the heads of agreement, the total cost for the build out of the project is at $427 million, and that's in addition to what we've already spent to date developing the WXN network and actually getting the project to this point, which is some $30+ million to date. But the overall impact of the project, as far as employment, when the project is fully up and running, we're going to be employing some full-time 800 Bahamians across various portions of the company. A lot of
800.
those, yeah.
Where is some of this stuff going to be headquartered?
The good part about it is that this is going to be something that all of the islands are going to be able to take advantage of. But most importantly, due to the remote and the geographic location of some of the southern islands, and not to segue into the political topic, but it's been the Michael constituency, in a sense. We've made several trips down there. There's one of the most important radars in the country that we just got back up and running, is located down there. And quite frankly speaking, the southern belt is typically the first area to be impacted by storms when hurricanes do roll through the Bahamas. And so the intent is to invest heavily down there in radar infrastructure, sensors infrastructure, and also eventually we're going to be setting up a research lab that is going to be a conduit for educating Bahamians who, at the end of the day, may not have the resources or want to go abroad. We're going to bring that training facility in country to be able to train the next generation of meteorologists, the next generation of EMTs, health services professionals regarding aviation.
So this is a whole entire approach, and then it's all sort of going to be centered, while impacting the nation, centered in those 5 islands all the way, the southern tip of the nation.
Yeah, well, so our corporate headquarters is going to be in Nassau. There is going to be a need to have a hub in the southern islands, just because anyone that's visited down there understands that it's not an easy task to get to the southern islands, to reach the southern islands. And oftentimes, when we go down there and we are starting to do the planning for the project, the sentiment down there, sometimes they feel somewhat forgotten. And so the intent is, out of the $400+ million that the project has a value of, some $100 million of that is going to eventually be invested down there. And we're probably talking about 100 to 150 full-time jobs alone
in that area.
In that area to begin with.
So what is that 100 million going towards?
That's going to be going towards infrastructure build out. That's going to be going towards education. That's going to be going towards helping.
So anyone who is interested in training, picking up a whole new career, I mean, to be highly skilled, whether it's weather, whether it's EMTs, as you said, and various other careers in that wide umbrella, this training is going to be available to them.
Yes, most definitely. The main thing is we want to make sure that the project is not inundated with foreign labor. And we understand that right now we're in the precipice of creating a new industry in a sense.
It is.
And so what we want to do is provide the training mechanisms, and that was something that in discussions with the Prime Minister and Minister Kobe Davis, she and him made sure that we had an education component across the board, and even so much so that one of our strategic partners from Abu Dhabi, Response Plus Medical, has already started the process to set up a local subsidiary, and they have representatives on the ground here now that are beginning to build out the training programs and actually put things together because, like I said, the project is not just about weather, it's not just about aviation, it's about all the components that surround the safe passage of travel, air traffic through the Bahamas, and one of those components is providing a certain level of emergency response services at those airports, which Baxter will be assisting with.
Which is amazing because we know the Southern Islands, they're so sort of, they're far-flung. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned earlier that many of the residents have felt for decades almost, I hate to use the word abandoned, but then maybe neglected then.
Yeah.
And so this will obviously begin to just bring everybody a bit closer and put into reach, arm's length reach or closer, these vital services.
Yeah, most definitely. And the goal is to also not only rejuvenate the economies down there, but we understand that economically, look, we're all Bahamians here, so we're not living in a silo because we're doing this project. We know that overall there is some economic strain that happens with the government having to take on the financial load of supporting these Southern Islands. So our idea is that, look, if we can be a part of a smaller rejuvenation of it that could drive additional ancillary services back to those islands, then the people will come. And, the old adage of the economy being so Nassau-centric, we want to try and change that to where, everybody can be involved in it.
This is really awesome, Michael and Quincy, because the people of Michael, I have followed them, and in every sort of complaint that they have, I've been only too happy to share it with the rest of the nation, to get their voices heard. And they have had quite a number of various complaints, and this is really something that's going to touch them. Now, I want to talk about, because it sounds really good. It sounds good to know that this is what you all are saying and everything, but people like to say, listen, you didn't sign the heads of agreement. You didn't. The ink is dried, basically. What's been happening since May? What is going on? What's the status of what? And what are we talking about in terms of timelines and that kind of thing?
Well, I mean, for starters, one common misconception about the project has to be cleared up. The heads of agreement was not us being handed a contract. The heads of agreement is for our company to invest $400 million, and that's something that we're in the process of. Since signing the heads of agreement, we're proud to say that our infrastructure team has been dispatched to the islands and has gotten the Met Office equipment that some of them weren't functioning correctly. We were able to get those up and running. We invested over $1 million in parts and labor to have those done. We're now analyzing upgrading those systems. We've signed an agreement with NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric body in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time in their history, they will be licensing their Advanced Weather Information Processing System, AWIPS, to a foreign and private entity. And what that does is, coupled with the investment that we're making in radars and also infrastructure right now, we'll be able to launch, coming towards the end of the year, our full-scale WXNSnet network. And in the meanwhile, we have also been working with the International Civil Aviation Organization on our proposals and submissions to restructure the overflight fees and also provide the proposal for Met
So
services.
this is going to be a reality. This is going to be a thing. We're not going to discuss this another 20 years from now and be like, boy, these overflight fees.
No. The reality of it is that, you know, the aviation sector is growing. We've seen all of the announcements of redevelopment of the airports, especially on the Family Islands.
Yeah.
And, you know, anyone that's worked in the aviation sector, you talk to pilots, you talk to persons that's involved in it, you know, the lack of data and information flying into those airports is a real risk, and that's a part of the reality. And before we experience any catastrophe that can tarnish the reputation of the Bahamas, we want to make sure that we are doing our part to, while these airport redevelopments are going on simultaneously, we're providing the support infrastructure with weather and crash search and rescue response. And, you know, the problem that our government faces that a lot of our counterparts don't face is that the government has to operate and maintain 26 to 28 airports. Some of our Caribbean counterparts have 3 and 4. That's a logistical problem, that's a monetary issue. And so through this agreement, we'll be assisting with lightening that load, that we can, where we can and however we see fit.
And also to chime in on that, Shanique, to answer your question about the nowness of this project.
Yeah.
You know, we have already begun working with the Met Office in terms of helping them, like Mike said, fix the data, fix the radars and AWAS systems, et cetera. But we're also now getting that data into the cloud properly. We're now being able to utilize that data, analyze it through various systems, and be able to then push that data into models. And in those models is how you're able to then help with other projects, like carbon credits, for example, to be able to help pilots and air traffic control understand what is actually happening up there closer, with a more advanced radar system or satellite system than what they may have in their cockpit.
This is really awesome.
Yeah.
It's good news, quite frankly. I'm so happy to be speaking about this project after hearing so much about it. I'm happy, of course, this is a special Beyond the Headlines. We're talking about an economy that's burgeoning in the southern Bahamas, the Maikal area, and these gentlemen are here to talk about that $400 million project and how it is going to impact not just Maikal, but the entire nation, and of course our aviation industry, our weather, Met Office as well. And we are certainly intrigued to learn more. We're going to take a first break this evening and come back with more of Beyond the Headlines right after this. Stay close.
America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
This year marks a milestone. The OWN Foundation is celebrating 10 years of impact, innovation, and inspiration. Join us for OWN Talks, September 12th at the Atlantis Resort, Paradise Island at 7 p.m. for a transformative experience under the theme, Activate. Taking the stage are world-renowned leaders and visionaries. Sebastian Bastian, visionary entrepreneur, philanthropist, and CEO of Island Luck and Weiss Technology Group. Barbara Corcoran, legendary real estate mogul, entrepreneur, investor, and star of Shark Tank. Vusi Tembekwayo, global business strategist, venture capitalist, and one of Africa's most influential thought leaders. Be part of this unforgettable evening as the OWN Foundation celebrates a decade of purpose and progress. And together, we activate the future.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
To that spot that you saw a moment ago. This is the political season, and of course we have wonderful political rates for you. If you, your candidate, your political organization would like to come on Beyond the Headlines and share what it is you're doing, perhaps even speak to issues that are happening now, or even share your mandate and your vision for the country, this is the spot to get your information out. Give our sales and marketing team a call or contact me directly to come on and have an interview, in fact, or a 30-minute segment, or even if, of course, the time is available, you can certainly, of course, have an entire show. This is what we are doing to help anyone who wishes to get their message across, any political organization, to get their message across here on Beyond the Headlines from now and throughout this campaigning and election season. And so, once again, reach out to our sales and marketing department or myself directly. And so we are here this evening with Basquin. Basquin is a weather and aviation network, but of course it really is a whole lot more, and you're going to hear more in our segment that's coming up. But for the first segment of tonight's show, we're joined by Michael Strawn, who is the Group Financial Advisor for Basquin, and Quincy Roll. He is the President of the Digital Labs Division of Basquin. And both gentlemen were talking about how MyCal stands to be significantly impacted in the best way possible. And then the nation, the Department of Meteorology and the aviation sector, all very, very important guys. We know what it is. Again, we are very hopeful this hurricane season, but again, this weather network that is unique even for the entire region is something that's aimed to just help forecasters and newly trained ones that's about to come on stream along with this project to better be able to give us the weather. Eh?
Yeah, correct. And again, we spoke a bit in the last segment on the educational aspect, and this is the reality. Is that even with the Department of Meteorology, they're not staffed at the level with meteorologists that they need to, and a lot of it is either because of lack of training, opportunities, financial constraints and whatnot. And we had the pleasure last month at the launch of the 3rd annual Med Cadet program with the Ministry of Energy and Transport and Department of Meteorology to announce that in the first wave of scholarships, we'd be providing $10,000, $25,000 scholarships to young persons that are interested in atmospheric sciences. And a part of that is strategic partnerships with the Metropolitan State University Corporation for atmospheric research in Colorado, Utah, and locally using the Bahamas Baptist University College and UB as training conduits to allow younger persons that's interested in getting into this sector easier path. And from the aviation meteorology side for Baxman, we're going to need about 130 meteorologists alone. And we want to help build out capacity not only for us, but also for the forecast office, because, Baxman is not taking over any of the forecasting responsibility of the Met Office. They're remaining a sovereign entity. Our job is to collaborate and work with them and to help build out capacity and infrastructure that is
right
mutually
there is
beneficial.
incredible. I mean, in excess of 100 new meteorologists will be brought on stream.
Yes, and so eventually what we want to do is, obviously, to start off, we're going to be relying on a mix of local and foreign capacity, but our intent is by year 5 to have our meteorological watch office fully staffed by Bahamians, and all of the ancillary jobs that comes with that. We're going to need radar technicians, we're going to need persons in IT, and we're going to need persons in the corporate side of it, and also from the media standpoint. The reality of it is the roots of our company was founded by someone that is well known to be a media person. And so, his vision, while bringing this portion of the business to life, has always been the fact that it's going to be coupled with a media aspect wherever we can. And Quincy and his team over at Digital Labs is feverishly working on the commercial side of the business on several projects. Some of the local populace has already subscribed to the daily e-planners that our team is producing and will continue to produce and put out there. And so, again...
And Mike, just to chime in quickly while you're still on that point, in terms of needing the personnel, I heard you probably heard what he said, but it didn't really sink in. In other words, there is a need for personnel, skilled personnel in the country to fill these jobs. There are jobs, but there needs to be people to fill it.
And then what's so awesome is you all are making the training available.
Yes. So touching back on that, Michael mentioned the National Center for Atmospheric Research, which is one of our partners, Dr. Roloff being one of the head chief scientists over there. And they have a program, and Bahamas, listen to me tonight. They have a program, it's called, NCAR has a program called UCAR, which is the university arm, okay? These guys literally provide free courses in atmospheric research. I've taken one of them. I've taken a flash flood course, just to see how it would be, and I got a certificate. My point is, you go online, you find something that interests you in atmospheric research. You read the courseware and you take a test, and they issue you a certified document because it is a national center in the federal government for the United States of America. So I would encourage you guys listening to go to that website and look at those free courses, get certified, try to fill a position that will be available, and you might actually enjoy it. You'd be surprised. It's very interesting work.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting. I mean, where is the training? Where can people access it and get further information?
So I will give you that information, but it's basically ncar.edu. But the university aspect is a link from it. It's called Comet, and that's their program that they use to provide these courses.
Yeah, and in the coming weeks, our website will be relaunched, and links to all of those various programs
from the Baxman website
will be available locally for persons to take a look at and to possibly enroll and take those courses. The main takeaway I want everyone to understand is that the investment in the Bahamian human capital, and we understand that at the end of the day, not everybody can work in hotels, not everybody's going to be an accountant, a doctor, a lawyer, but there are a lot of talented Bahamians out there that have gifts that are in the engineering field and the atmospheric research field that they don't even know that this is a lucrative field to get into. And so with a project of this scale, we want to ensure that Bahamians, but young Bahamians also, are afforded the opportunity to have a career, a livable wage, and also add value to the Bahamian economy and eventually the country.
I mean, it's further obviously expanding a niche industry in meteorology, but all the other things that come with that. And so it's really awesome to see how this is further expanding. We always talk about diversifying the economy, diversifying so that people can find wonderful jobs and unique skills that they perhaps didn't know they have. This is something that's going to be available to anyone who has an interest. As you said, Quincy, you took with one of the free courses available.
Yep, flash flood. And I learned about burn scars. Never heard that term before taking the course, but you learn a lot about how, nothing just happens, but you learn and you can see the signs and you can actually help prevent it. That's a part of the goal at Baxwin.
Yeah. Let's talk about the global response. You mentioned that this will also have regional impact, which is quite significant. It's something that's even unique to in the region already. What has been the global response and sort of willingness to work along with?
Well, from the carbon credit standpoint, Baxwin had a whole booth set up at the S&P 500 conference last year in Barcelona. Both myself, Michael, and a few others would have attended that conference. And we would have had panel discussions and also spoke in different areas regarding the carbon credits project and what Baxwin is doing. So the response from the S&P 500, that's a global market, and their global carbon credits market, markets was phenomenal to attend. And we got such great feedback from Indonesia. I mean, from all over the world, countries all over the world. They came, they lined up to talk with us about what we're doing in the country. And a lot of them really couldn't believe it. They really were very shocked to, I don't know why, but they were shocked to believe.
They don't expect a small island nation to be leading the way like this.
So when they saw what we were doing and they saw the credentials behind it, they saw what was actually out, they saw the paper clippings, they saw this stuff, they were just amazed that, a company from a small country like the Bahamas, in population that is, could present something like this to the world. And I think Baxwin, outside of that, we've traveled to other places as well, where the company has been represented greatly, and the response is always very good.
Yeah, and then further to what Quincy is saying, when the carbon credits platform is launched and fully rolled out at the end of this year, the Bahamas will be only the third nation that would be able to offer certified aviation carbon credits. And that's a monumental achievement because the only other two countries that are doing it based on their forestry and natural resources, and we're taking advantage of the biggest replenishable resource we have, which is our airspace. In addition to that, in our extensive travels with partners in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, we've had interest from the civil aviation in Kenya, and I actually just had a call on Thursday past with the civil aviation body in Botswana that wanted us to advise on how to set up the Meteorological Watch Office, how to restructure their overflight fees and whatnot. So the global landscape has been more than welcoming. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that, as Quincy alluded to, a small island nation was able to push something like this out and be able to hold its own on a global stage. And to talk about Barcelona, we're the keynote company that's going to be presenting this year at GCM 2025. And, we fully buy into what the Prime Minister is trying to do with the green economy and the climate change. And even with our discussions with him, it was something that he was taken aback by, that you had two young Bahamians that actually took the lead on something like this and able to develop what they intend to call a groundbreaking platform for and global implications outside of the Baxwin project.
Well, this is quite awesome. Gentlemen, thank you both so much for really kind of setting the foundation for tonight's discussion and bringing us into Baxwin and what it represents and the fact that it's so historic, not only for the Bahamas, but for the region and its impact already globally, that many people are applauding the Bahamas for, and of course you and your hard work as well in leading in this. And again, if you want to get more information and obviously contact whether it's Michael, whether it's Quincy, or anybody else on the team. What is that again, Quincy?
So I can send you the email details. But it's Tribune Digital Labs. So it'll be Q-Roll at Tribune Digital.
Speak slowly.
It would be Q-Roll, Quincy Roll, Q-Roll at Tribune Digital Labs, .com.
And I can be reached at mstrachan, S-T-R-A-C-H-A-N, at baxwin.com or finance@baxwin.com.
Awesome. Thank you both very much, Michael and Quincy from Baxwin. Just amazing what's about to really kind of just take shape in this nation and help, of course, continue to help us shore up all those industries, aviation, meteorology, and so much more. Thank you both for being here. When we come back, we will speak with the gentleman whose brainchild this all was, who is leading the way in this development, and also ensuring that MyCal Michael, that's right. Those set of islands that have been so left out or felt they were left out for so long that they're included in this as well. Robert Caron joins us next with a special guest.
The Bahamas is the premier destination for fly fishing because of its unique geography.
We've got the third largest barrier reef in the world in the Bahamas.
We have the largest aggregation of mangroves in the Western Hemisphere.
Which simply means we've got the largest marine biodiversity than anywhere else in the world.
I am unapologetic about Bahamians being owners in our #1 industry.
We should not just say it, we should have it enacted into certain policies.
The Bahamas Fly Fishing Industry Association was instrumental in the 2017 sports fishing legislation. Anyone fishing in the Bahamas who's going to be guiding has to be certified and licensed, and thirdly, they have to be a Bahamian.
And that is historic in that a model of conservation and a model for Bahamianization has been legislated, the only one in the country.
But it also gives Bahamians the opportunity with a sense of pride to know that at the end of the day, I'm contributing to the development of my country and something they can pass on for generations.
The out island of Bahamas, there are no other alternative industry that generates the kind of revenue that fly fishing does. The entire community benefits.
I would always encourage the tourists, people who want to fish, hire a local guide.
The guides in the Bahamas are some of the best trained fly fishing guides in the world. You know it because you see the results in terms of the kinds of fishing they're doing. They're catching the largest bonefish, the largest tarpon, largest permit. That is unique. So this is the lure to all the anglers internationally coming who thinks of the Bahamas as #1 destination for fly fishing in saltwater.
I'm really excited about this initiative that SPTC has brought forth for the fishermen.
If you have great guides and terrible boats and engines and nothing working and all this, you could be the best in the world. And people still have a terrible experience because they could not have a good day on the water.
I think one of the greatest things is to have access to quality capital, but not only having access to the capital, but terms and conditions related to the capital, so we encourage growth and expansion of the industry and professionalism within the industry because of the resources being at hand and having proper guidance.
It'll be a greater impact and they'll have a better experience.
And I foresee it being an opportunity that the guides are taking advantage of in terms of the opportunities for education, awareness, and resources. You always need to advise people, inform them, and then equip them. And so I think this process is essential because it allows those skill sets that are needed in a changing economy and environment, how they could then keep up with operating their small business.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Of course, if you were watching, we were speaking with some of the principals of Basquin and talking about what that incredible technology is set to do. And of course, that project, a multi-million-dollar project, is set to do for a number of industries in the Bahamas. Well, it's about to get even better, because wait until you hear of exactly how this is going to continue to roll out and also expand to impact specifically the islands of the southern Bahamas and bring to them proper health care and health response and that kind of thing. But first, we're going to welcome in this segment our guests, Robert DePuch Karen, and Venu Raman. He is from a company in Abu Dhabi, RPM. We will hear more about that in a moment. But Robert, it's good to have you here. Certainly, of course, you trended over the weekend. I imagine you know why. Robert is an aspirant for the Maikal constituency, and he was one of many persons who attended the aspirant module at the Progressive Liberal Party's event this weekend. In fact, let me show you the picture that caused him to trend. Justin, if you can pull that picture up. And maybe Robert could just briefly explain it. Justin, if you can pull that picture up. I'm waiting for the picture. But Robert, let's just talk about when, I'll tell you this, and so many people are intrigued, quite intrigued. There's the picture. Maybe we can start there. Can you explain that picture that stunned the nation and went viral?
Yeah, that's a well, thank you for having me.
Yes, good to have you.
Great to see you again. That's a picture of my good friend Leslie, and since the aspirants modules were in his father's building, so to speak, he decided to walk me in the doors, and that was basically it. I didn't realize it was going to go so viral that it did, but we've been good friends for many years.
Well, it's quite historic, and we don't even have the time to get into all the history of why that picture is so special. To see the son of the father of the nation walking Robert DePuch Karen into PLP headquarters during the aspirants weekend, module weekend, was quite significant, and many people felt and thought that way. But let's just talk about you, Robert. You have political aspirations. I imagine maybe that was surprising to your friends, or maybe not. But you come from generations of persons who've served in the Maikal constituency. For example, 5 generations of DePuch have served in the House of Assembly over many, many, many decades. I think you're Joseph DePuch, Sir Etienne DePuch, the Honorable Eugene DePuch, Bernard DePuch. Let's see who else. Pierre DePuch. Robert, you want to be number 6?
I'm trying. Yes, I would. I'd like to, continue the legacy of service above self, and I think that the family has a great deal to offer in these regards. And so it wasn't really my intention, but when I went down there, my mother wisely said that this would happen, and here we are today.
Ms. Karen predicted that. By the way, I'll tell you, the Tribune, a media group, was my first job when I got back from school, and so this is why I'm smiling, because I feel like I know them all. I know him and his mom and the family quite well. So
I apologize. I forgot to say hello. Mum, I apologize. I was supposed to. There you go.
Hello, Ms. Karen. Hello to you. So Robert, let's just talk about why the PLP.
Well, I think it was just an opportunity that fell in my lap, because when we went down to share about the project and the islands, I would say a lot of the family islands, but in particular Maikal, I would call it on life support basically, and the people were so enthusiastic about the project that it became a natural evolution. And they petitioned that I would consider, and I said I would be honored to take that opportunity. I just want to say one thing. There's more than myself an aspirant to do this, and it is very important, I think, for us Bahamians to realize that we have something that billions of people in the world fight for, some die for, and that is freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. And in freedom of speech, we live it every day. You would have known it at the Tribune. Freedom of speech can be hurtful, it can be hateful, it can be that to which you actually despise. But in order to be free, people have to have their opinions. The second thing is we get to decide who represents us, or at least in theory. And I think it's very important for not only Maikal, but all the constituencies to have a choice. We have a choice in who is elected. And the one thing I hoped that maybe the picture of Leslie you can be from two political points of view, but we're Bahamians. And I think it's my passport says Bahamian, it doesn't say how you voted. And I think that moving forward, the country faces such existential threats that we need to come together at some points. We can fight over certain things, but we really need to come forward and change the dynamic and change how we approach. And that was my thoughts.
Yeah. What can the people of MyCal, I mean, we already see, I've heard from them, because I'll tell you, I've followed MyCal since I sat in this chair. They've reached out to me. They have complained about any number of things. And so, I've followed them over the years, whether it was, whatever it is, road issues, airports, whatever it is. And so obviously I was kept up to date on this as well, or this development. What more can they expect from you in those 5 constituents, 5 islands?
Well, the first thing is the islands are very unique. Each one is very unique. And I think, and a thank you to BJ Moss for taking me down there and reintroducing me again, and for all the Anita, Tim, Boyd and Pops and everybody down there. And I think what is important is that we have to decide how we're going to reinvigorate those islands. It cannot continue as it is.
No.
When my grandfather bought Mayaguana into the Bahamas in 1962, it had 3,896 registered voters, a population of about 9,000. Today, they tell me it's 267 on a good day. I don't think the Southern Islands, and indeed many of the family islands, can continue like that. They lack street lights, they lack, in some instances, they don't have food stores, they don't have pharmacies, they don't have ATMs, they don't have banks, they don't have running water. We've got all these issues, and the government can't do it all. The government is not the place of first resort, it's the place of last resort. So I hope that this project, and you heard from some of our fine young guys, I'm going to use young guys there, but they're doing a wonderful job. We have with us also in the studio Venu from Response Plus to talk about the medical that we'll be doing down there. But I hope that this will generate more Bahamians to invest in our country and to our family islands, because otherwise they face a bleak future. And I, for some place that has visited since I was 8 years old, I was going to get to that in a moment, because we need to get to Venu in a second. But I want to talk about that. MyCal is not strange to you. You are no stranger to MyCal. You went there as a kid with your uncles, your grandfather, who represented the various islands in MyCal at the time, which were kind of separated. Correct.
As a constituency.
Correct. So my grandfather represented Mayaguana, my uncles represented Nagua, then Crooked Island was together and Ackland. So they were not as they are today. But overall, for about 35 years, they represented down there in one way or another. And then you had Eugene DePuch, who was obviously was very instrumental in the Prime Minister's law. And obviously the same issues that they face down there, we face. You need to have medical services, you need to have airports, you need to have emergency management services if you want to have any type of residential community. And without that, I don't think that any of the family islands have a hope. And the future of the nation, I would say, in tourism and everything else is in these islands. They have some amazing, beautiful places.
They absolutely do.
And topics.
Yeah, they do. Before we get to Venu and what awesome services he's going to be bringing to MyCal in particular, I just want to say to you that the F&M aspirant for Freetown, Anthony Blue Johnson, says to tell his brother he wishes you, he's first of all proud of you, he wishes you the best success as you move towards gaining the nomination for MyCal, and he wishes you just very, very successful, and he hopes that you actually get it, he says. So I just wanted you to know that, because he told me, don't forget to say that, Shanique.
Thank you, Blue. Thank you, my brother.
Let's talk about Venu. Venu is going to play, and his company RPM out of Abu Dhabi is going to play an incredible and very, very important role in what you hope and what you envision happening in MyCal.
That's correct, yes. So one of in signing the HOA, and one of the responsibilities is live flight tracking, because we don't have that in the Bahamas. We don't have crash search and rescue coordination, and we need real-time meteorological weather services. These are requirements for the safe, efficient passage of every plane that goes over it. The Bahamas is the 6th largest gateway in the world. And so I was very fortunate to the late Dr. Chilapa. He was the chairman of Johns Hopkins. When I was walking there when my son was dying, I was walking around the halls, and he joined me, and he said, whenever you're ready for your project, I have the perfect man. And the perfect man was the CEO of Response Plus, that would be Vanu's boss. And so Dr. Rohil and the owner of the company, His Excellency Dr. Shamsher, out in Abu Dhabi, and we went out there many times and we formed an amazing relationship. So it's an amazing company. They're the largest pre-hospital care, emergency management services, and first response places. They operate in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Yemen. And so we went out, we verified that their services, and as part of the overflight fees, you need to have, if you're injured in a plane crash, the firemen put out the flames, but someone needs to take you, treat you. And I can say, as the former deputy chairman of the PHA and who works with the new chairman, Andrew Edwards, the PHA is not designed, set up, nor is it has the capacity to do this. So we needed to find someone else who could put a layer on top of the PHA, and fortunately we've find such an amazing partner in Response Plus Medical, and I'm very delighted that they've sent their lead man, project manager here, in the advance of the ambulances and helicopters that will be arriving.
Venu, this is stunning for us to hear. I mean, the fact that the South, and I imagine it's going to spill over, but it's going to be outfitted with, as Robert said, ambulances, helicopters. You plan on obviously setting up, I guess, a headquarter type thing here to ensure that Bahamians are sufficiently and properly trained.
Evening, Bahamas. And thank you very much, Shanik, for having me here. Back from the deserts, I represent, Response Plus Medicals. That's my company's name. Response Plus Medicals is a 22-year-old company spread over in all over the Middle East, UK, Colombia. Now we are just coming into Bahamas. Plus we have our business spread over in almost all over the world, basically, in terms of medical services. My company brings around 20,000 personnel, basically in healthcare professionals. Mm-hmm. We have around 100,000 healthcare campaigns being done last year. We have done around 1.67 million training sessions till now. We have done around 100 air evacuations. We have done around more than 800 events last year. It's a major company that is spread over in doing all the healthcare services, pre-hospital healthcare services all over the Middle East and around the world. Shanik, Bahamas is new to us. Mm-hmm. We have been here. I've traveled all around from the southern islands, back from Inagua to Acklins to Miguana to almost San Salvador, Catal, and I've got the chance to witness the entire activities that's going on here. We have done our SWOT analysis. We have done our part in terms of the assessment of the whole scenario. Mm-hmm. And we are ready with whatever that is required to be deployed there, including the ambulances, the manpower, the training sessions, and even the air evacuation systems, particularly the helicopter. What we have seen in Maikal is basically we have facilities where we can build in prefabricated clinics. Mm-hmm. Next to that is prefabricated aviation clinics next to the airports. Mm-hmm. And we plan to bring up, we have actually approached a MOH for this. We have met with Dr. Darwin last 2 weeks back and requested him for our direct access to the mini hospital at Exuma. Bringing patients from the Maikal or from the southern islands to Nassau could be a time-consuming process. So we want to develop the Exuma clinic, the mini hospital that they are upgrading to an urgent clinic, mm-hmm. which we want to make it an emergency clinic right now.
So you're going to assist in ensuring that happens?
Absolutely.
So that it meets what you're going to be able to do?
Absolutely.
So just to clarify, so the quality of care that required for aviation related is trauma, burns, and ICU, which is not a community clinic as the PHA or the Department of Public Health. So as Vanu wisely said, Miguana and those guys are 480 plus miles away. They would be at the limit of a helicopter's range. So bringing them to Exuma and upgrading that hospital to be an aviation designated center, bringing the doctors and stuff there, allows us to bring the patients both for aviation-related incidents. Now, these are public patients. These aren't private patients. These are public patients all. And so that when the center is there, it'll be a regional center, and capable of serving not only San Salvador, Cat Island, Long Island, but Exuma and all the islands in the southern area. There'll be one in Abaco that we're going to do the same thing up in Abaco. And we're looking to upgrade the RAN to be able to handle the ones in the northwest Bahamas. So there's no point in bringing people back to Nassau. It doesn't make sense.
Would it also be available to persons just for other healthcare needs?
Shanik, see, aviation healthcare and aviation emergency services will happen only as and when some incident happens. Other than those times, what we have seen, what we have experienced back everywhere in the Middle East and all, this works as an open clinic where the local people can take advantage of this. So we will equally develop these clinics to cater to the local staff, local people around in and around the island too. But our major focus will be only on the aviation sector.
I understand that you are also in the process of having several ambulances taken to Maikal.
Yes, we have actually we have already placed orders for 6 ambulances to reach most probably before Christmas, close to November. Ambulances along with the manpower, that is the EMTs and paramedics also will arrive during that time. We hope to start our Mikal business primarily in Cat Island, Acklins and Wiguana, latest before the Christmas itself.
Sounds awesome. Robert, I'd like for you, as we wrap up this evening, for you to perhaps speak to the people of Mayaguana, the people of Maikal. Why am I pointing out one area? But the people of Maikal to perhaps, I don't know, make a pitch, whatever it is you would like to say.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and good evening, Maikal, especially. I know that as Backswin comes down there and tries to make an impact and a change in the lives of not only yourselves, but in the family island citizens, I think the one thing that we need to always take in mind is that we are all Bahamians, and it is incumbent upon us and myself, and I take the task that if I choose or was chosen to represent you, that is a task of a legacy of 5 generations. It is a loyalty to yourselves and to the residents of the other islands, and the project will make a significant difference in your lives with respect to your health care, with respect to your aviation. But it is not a magic wand that you can just wave. We were going to be building houses. We will need construction guys. But we're going to also need, there's opportunities for other people. So there's opportunities for technicians. I know there's someone who retired from Banza who is put in there to do radars. We're going to need IT specialists. We're going to need people, drivers. We're going to need all sorts of things. So it's a community that can make it work. But it can only work if you want it to work. And I do hope, and I sincerely hope, that you will believe that Backswin will deliver what it says, because failure is not an option. And that in the grand scheme of life, you have a choice. And that if you do choose me, know this, you will get 100% from me, like the rest of my team know, every single day for the rest of my life. So I will always love it, even if you choose someone else, which I hope you won't, but I will always be down there as I have been. Probably my 60th or 70th time I've been down there, first when I was 8 years old. So it is in my heart, and is the rest of the family islands as well. So it is up to you to make that choice, and whatever choice you do, I will be happy with the choice you make.
I thank you very much, Robert Dupuch-Karen, the chief principal at Backswin, and all that comes with that, as well as Venu Rahman, who is from RPM out of Abu Dhabi, who is here in the Bahamas to help make some things happen, some amazing things in the aviation sector, and of course just also making healthcare, just the access available to people in the southern islands, which is so amazing. Venu, it's really, really awesome. And of course at the top of tonight's show, thank you so much to Michael Strawn and Quincy Roll for joining us as well. Guys, it's really been awesome hearing more about Backswin. So I hope all of you certainly enjoyed hearing about this, seeing the amazing opportunities that will unfold and become available through this project. And gentlemen, I hope that maybe we can come and sit down again and talk about it when it reaches another milestone. And so thank you all once again. I thank you for tuning in this evening. I certainly enjoyed having you along, and I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone. Okay.